happy souls, welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111. My beautiful friends, I have a new reading for you today. Today we are asking, what do you need to know the most about earthly matters? These are messages from Mother Earth. And earth energy is all about stability, balance, home life, relationships and career. All of those things in our day-to-day reality that matter. So we're going to look at what's going on in your zone of awareness and what you need to know about your present circumstances and how you can move forward for your own highest good. So take your time choosing a pile. In pile number 1, I've got the Mystical Cats Tarot with Reassured Jasper. In pile number 2, I've got the Bohemian Animal Tarot with Bumblebee Jasper. And in pile number 3, we've got the Magical Dogs Tarot with Cobra Jasper. So all the Jaspers, very earthy energies today. And you can see that I followed this through with my sunshine grid. I love it so much. We've still got the bumblebees here as well, joining in us. So 2 of these that I keep finding, unfortunately, deceased wasps and bees. There's 2 on the grid in my bedroom, but these are the ones I brought in for us today. It's a big message and symbol for the collective and the community right now, because bees are about community. You know, they work for the greater good for the common good. And even though they have their very individual purpose and roles, you know, they're always coming back to that oneness. So they carry such a powerful message for us. Tell me in the comments below if they've been showing up for you as well. So take your time choosing a pile. Remember, just see which one you're drawn to. If you're drawn to more than one, it just means there's messages in more than one pile for you. The timestamps are in the description box below. That will take you straight to your pile, and I will see you there. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the Mystical Cats Tarot and the Reassured Jasper. So thank you so much for tuning in today. We're asking today, what are the messages from Mother Earth? And earth energy is all about our grounded present life. Okay, that flew out for you. That's the 5 of Cups. I'm going to put it back in, but that might be significant. See if it comes out again. So it's all about what's going on in your life right now. You know, the earthly matters, which would be your home life, the day-to-day relations, work, all of those practical earthly things. And in this reading, we're asking Mother Earth to bring forward the messages that you need the most to help support you through these earthly affairs, to help you move forward with more grace, more awareness, more abundance and happy, to help you, you know, be able to see things a little bit more clearly. So let's see what comes through for you. We're going to use the Oracle cards, all very earthy themed today. We're going to use, I think, crystal cards as well, definitely the charms and the tarot coins. There will be an extended reading as well today. But before I begin, and while I'm shuffling, just ask the universe for a sign. Perhaps something earthly today, which could be a plant, a tree, a flower, an animal, an insect. Anything that feels good and right to you. Maybe not cats, because you chose the cat deck. That would be too obvious. Or even a god, goddess or deity, anything that feels significant to you. A sign can really be anything. Whatever pops into your mind, a symbol, numbers, phrase, there's no right or wrong. It just gives the universe an opportunity to communicate with you. And you may find that you notice these signs outside of the reading as well, like me with these bumblebees and wasps and hornets. They're everywhere for me right now. Unfortunately, I keep finding them dead, which is really interesting. But bees are about community and collective work and spirit. And, you know, it's the worker bee, isn't it? I always think of them as being so very productive, but so in harmony. It's good stuff. Okay, let's see what's coming through for you, pile 1. What's going on for you right now, pile 1? We've got the 8 of Cups. So remember, we started with that 5 of Cups fell out, which is actually symbolic of grief or upset. We've also got the Queen of Cups here. We've got the 9 of Cups, so a lot of emotional issues coming up for you. We've got the 8 of Swords in reverse. We've got the 10 of Swords in reverse. and we have the Hierophant in this deck, the Priest. Intense. And clarifying these, the Five of Wands in reverse, the Five of Cups in reverse. So that was the one that flew out for you. It's come up beneath the Queen of Cups. That's Cancerian energy, so that's really significant. We'll talk about that in a moment. The Hermit in reverse, that's Virgo energy. The Ace of Wands in reverse. The Star in reverse. And the Sun. Okay, actually let's start with these. The Fairy Forest deck. Isa, stillness, pause, delicacy. Salu, vitality, health and energy. One more. Otherworld, veil, illness, transition. And messages from your spirit animals deck. Octopus, seagull, dog, and this is the Angels and Ancestors Oracle. Warrior, animal guardian. Okay, part one. Big download, isn't even as I'm drawing cards for you today. The storyline's very clear. You're very overwhelmed right now. There's a lot going on in your life. And there's a very clear message here not to be so very hard on yourself, because this is actually a really beautiful and profoundly transformational cycle that you're moving through. And because it feels like everything around you is collapsing, you've got this idea that you think you're a failure. What's actually happened with this Eight of Swords in reverse is that you've broken down a lot of old programs that were running on autopilot. Programs connected to communication, programs connected to how you interacted with others in your relations to others. And you suddenly see clearly now. You're no longer confined by the awareness of the mind, that operating system, the part of us that operates an ego. You are now able to perceive many of your behaviors from a much more conscious perspective. And being in the middle of this shift, there are a tremendous number of releases happening. You may feel incredibly emotional. With the Eight of Cups here, this is about you being on that powerful hermit inner journey right now. When the Eight of Cups comes up, it's about leaving things behind to move towards the new. And this isn't just a literal metaphor as in moving away from physical situations or people, but this is also about literally detaching at an emotional level, finding yourself outgrowing so many different areas of your life and just not being entirely sure when you fit in, so where you fit in. And so that transitional stage, even though it's powerful in its potency and potential for learning, it's also incredibly uncomfortable. But with the Queen of Cups here, there is a tremendous amount of flow and movement. And look at this cat here, just serenely watching it. You know, this is a powerful reminder that when you take the time to get into your bliss state, your happy place, this state of relaxation or higher consciousness, an altered state, so to speak, which you know now how to do, you're able to perceive things and enjoy that transition in a much more relaxing way. And you know, you're on the cusp of that. We've got the Nine of Cups here. This is all about bringing everything into balance. It's a progression of the Eight of Cups. Remember, if that Eight of Cups is going within, detaching, you know, being in hermit mode, the Nine of Cups is being more comfortable with that. you know, when we first go into that deep hermit mode, we're almost kind of repelled by the energy of others or social engagements. It almost feels too intense because we're still navigating this new energy of our own, and it's hard to kind of figure out where you begin and end when you're not accustomed to this new vibration you have. So interactions with other people can become really challenging during that stage. But what we see is this progression here with the Nine of Cups. You know, in the traditional Nine of Cups, there's actually a gentleman sat there waiting for the party to begin, and he's sat alone in solitude. He looks very content, very happy. All the cups are lined up behind him, awaiting the arrival of his guest. But it's important to recognize that he's illustrated sitting in solitude. The nine, of course, connects the energy of the hermit, Virgo, which is actually reversed here in the clarifying position. You know, this is about actually finding stability, comfort, and more common ground in this new energy of yours. This is about leveling out and finding your feet. And, you know, Mother Earth's coming in really firmly here to remind you that it's not just about connecting with your consciousness, it's about being able to be present and conscious at the same time. That's your next challenge. You know how to be at one, you know how to get into that meditative state, and you know how to be here, but you're in this in-between state where you're being called to be both. You know, you're on the precipice of stepping into genuine, conscious, mindful living. It's uncomfortable, but you need to give yourself a pat on the back. Stop seeing yourself as a failure. Everything that has broken down broke down for a reason. It broke down so that you could find your way here, releasing this stress with the 10 of Swords in reverse. You know, this is all about really hard cycles closing off. And of course, the Hierophant, the number 5 here, is there to remind us of the powerful transformational energies that are occurring throughout this stage in your life. It may feel like everything is going wrong, but actually it's all coming together so very beautifully. In relationships, you're no longer interacting like it's a game. It's no longer about one-upmanship, trying to win the argument, trying to make yourself understood. You know, you're learning to detach from that and just accept things as they are. And you've noticed that when you accept things as they are, your communication is more intentional, more authentic, and it's less inflammatory. It means you engage in less conflict in your life. And when you do encounter drama and conflict, you're more likely to step back, to step away. You know, you are literally growing beyond these energies that previously kept you trapped. Again, we've got the 5 of Swords here in reverse. The 5 of Swords and the 5 of Wands, again, remember all of this change, this transition with the 5s, the same as the Hierophant. But these are about competition and conflict. And again, that Queen of Cups coming in with all of her mature energy, understanding that she can no longer do battle this way. Now is about bridging the gap. You may feel at your lowest point right now, and you know, Spirit is asking you just to step a little bit further back when you review your present circumstances and recognize that right now you're literally being taught the power of now. Everything is happening right now, and it's just beyond your field of awareness when you're in the thick of it. But again, the message is that you know how to be conscious, you know how to sit above that energy that's, you know, going on in front of you and just be at one with it. There's a huge call here to restore faith as well. When the Ace of Wands and the Star come up in reverse, you know, this is the energy of not feeling optimistic about the potential outcomes in the future, and really you're probably thinking far too much into the future that's allowed these anxieties and fears to surface. Don't forget that at the time of uploading you're moving through eclipse season, and it's all about releasing. This is why we see so much movement of emotional energy, so many letting down of the barriers of the past which were in the mind, so that everything can flow again. It's tumultuous, it's turbulent, but you are making it through. You know, but you do need to turn back towards your faith. It feels like when your outer world is in a state of flux, you struggle to find the time to meditate, to be at one with yourself, to give yourself the space that allows you to really, you know, be centered in that self-care, self-love regime. And when everything's in this state of flux, you tend to step out of it. But Mother Earth saying you have the skills to put yourself back there. That your only job right now is to feel good. You know, the Sun is all about that childhood innocence of enjoyment. You know, at no moment when children are playing and just in their own zone? Do they stop and want something different? You know, they're not judging, they're not wishing they were somewhere else doing something different. They're so very present and so very good at being rooted in the now. And this is the energy you're being asked to step into, because when things are challenging for you, you tend to step away from the now. And you're being asked now, you're being challenged to step into the now and find balance within it. You're ready to do that. You know, you are going through this change, but you'll know when that time comes. And now this is in your zone of awareness. It's, you know, it's infiltrated the right layers in your mind. You're going to find these next steps much smoother. You've got octopus and seagull energy here. Now, remember, seagull is a really powerful symbol coming up here because of all this deep emotional healing. That's what he represents. Now is the time for deep emotional healing. Waves and waves of old, stagnant, ancestral patterns literally being washed away. And that might mean that they surface in your dreams, they surface in your day-to-day thoughts, or you relate to films, articles, books you're reading, storylines pop up that kind of trigger all of the stuff that you're letting go of. And again, that's just spirit helping you along, helping you understand your storyline as it comes up and through you, drawing your attention to it and asking you to sit with it, you know, to be at one with yourself. You've got octopus here. Practice shape-shifting by altering your physical appearance and mannerisms. So this is to remember that you are what you create. You know, you've been learning about the power of the mind. You know how to apply it in specific circumstances. But when it comes to your day-to-day living, you're not taking advantage of all these beautiful skills that you have. This is where you connect it all to the Earth's grid. This is where you ground everything you've learned and find yourself back in your body, balanced and so much stable, more stable. We've got the dog. Your loyalty and faithfulness is misplaced by serving too many masters. You know, you have to start serving yourself first. When things are busy and they're chaotic, you know, you're not going to find it easy to ground. And when you don't give yourself that space to come back into your body, to, you know, realign yourself, you're literally depriving yourself of so much clarity, productivity, and feeling of good, feeling of comfort and peace. Be fearless and stand strong. There's definitely something that you need to work towards and defend right now. And Mother Earth is reminding you, and it says here as well with Animal Guardian, trust your instincts. You know, let go of fear. Trust that you're here for a reason and that everything that's happening to you right now, you're going to come out stronger. And do you know what? I will say this generally, for every time I've been knocked down in life and found myself at rock bottom, every time it's happened, the comeback has been bigger than the one before. You will always rise again. You have this fearless quality and strength in you. Trust your own instincts. Animal guardians here, you've got deer, you've got the owl, you've got black panther or jaguar, and you've got crow. So, you know, I'm just thinking here as well, I'm being drawn to the four elements represented here by the four corners, the same as they're represented here. You know, this is about trusting earth energy, trusting yourself as a human being, recognizing your power, recognizing your aptitude to bring yourself into balance. You have this clarity now. You need to start making it work for you. Stillness, pause, and delicacy. ISA number 17. You know, I think for me, this is all about fragility. You know, you may feel like you could just collapse into 1,000 pieces at once because there's so much happening and it feels like you're under so much pressure. But in truth, look how beautiful vulnerability and fragility is. Think how brave you've been to get through this and to still not be too stubborn enough to ask for help. You know, there is companionship around you. There is a community here to support you if you reach out and lean into it. Not everyone knows what you're going through, but there's a message coming through about trusting that your weakness is still beautiful, your trust in others, and that faithfulness that you have when you open up and give them an opportunity to love you and help light your way somewhat is not a weakness. It's really beautiful. And we've got Salu, vitality, health, and energy. You know, when you move through these energies of reconnecting yourself to the Earth's grid with all of this intention, you literally plug yourself into another life source. You get more of that feel-good factor, which underpins the whole point of this journey. And, you know, you're ready to be there. It feels like for you that feel-good point has felt unobtainable. There's always something. But transition, veil, you know, it feels dark right now. But you're coming through this, you're transitioning through it, you're returning back to stability, you're returning back to peace. It's literally just connecting that outer world and that inner world here in the present. That's the easiest way of saying it for you, pile one. Super deep. I want to go more into the breakdown of some of these relationships. So we're going to look at love and career as well. I think that was an overview. There's definitely a lot of emotional rushing and releasing, sorry, a lot of emotional releasing. I get the impression that there's a releasing of people. So let's see what that is. Okay, so we've got the Fool in reverse. We've got the King of Cups coming over the Queen of Cups. That's quite incredible. Scorpio energy and Cancer energy there. We've got the Three of Cups in reverse. We've got the Queen of Wands. We've got the Two of Wands in reverse. And we've got the Seven of Swords in reverse. And clarifying, you've got the Nine of Swords. You've got the Five of Pentacles in reverse. The Three of Swords in reverse. The King of Pentacles in reverse. The Seven of Wands. And Eight of Wands. Okay, so lots and lots of movement here. I'm going to use these, the Heal Yourself reading cards. We've got Entrapment. We've got Help from Above. And we've got Self-Love. And from the Goddess Oracle, we've got the Erinius, Crisis. We've got Yemaya, Surrender. We've got Nut, Mystery. Vela, Shape-Shifting. Bear in mind we had Octopus for shape-shifting. This is all about shifting states of mind and consciousness. And Bloodwood, Betrayal. Wow. Okay, so relationship stuff, especially up in the air, pile one. It feels like there was a false start in this relationship that's been ongoing. And you've definitely reached a crisis point with that. But also I think both people involved felt powerless to actually step away. And with the Nine of Swords here, you know, that false start was very painful. It was worst fears confirmed, you know, this kind of, we're talking again, it's all moving in the right direction, getting your hopes up, you know, finding expectation creeping in. And then when it all came crashing down and it didn't follow that path, you know, there's that tremendous energy of loss and rejection is triggered once more. So, you know, the emotional upheaval, you are seeing it from a much more balanced perspective. And we see that the masculine and feminine emotional body here is very much finding that balance within itself, because we have the Queen and King show up. This is a great deal of mature emotional energy that's, you know, coming through for you here. And again, we've got another five, the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is all about rejection, but we see here that it's reversed. You know, and this can indicate one of two things. Either you're not acknowledging the pain of rejection and it's kind of consuming you and there's been no outlet for it, and now it's all tumbling through, forcing its way through, or this is you closing out that cycle, that you are acknowledging that rejection. Either way, this is coming through strong for you. It's either in your awareness and you're working through it, or it's happening to you despite the lack of awareness. But we see a letting go here of rejection, and again, that those threes in reverse are not coming together. I'm inclined to say with the Three of Swords in reverse that there's definitely some unresolved grief here. There's more energy of grief to be handled. And remember that Five of Cups came up first, it flew out. The energy of grief, it does feel like, you know, when we're asking what you need to know, that there's a strong message there in the background about the root cause of a lot of this sadness that you're carrying. And it's connected to this relationship, but it actually goes back beyond that, before that, to a wound that was already within you, that's being prodded and poked when this situation comes up, which is why it's so painful. The Queen of Wands, this is Pisces, Aries energy. This is all of that dreamy, fantastical energy combined with drive and this just powerful productivity and visionary enthusiasm. We see it celebrated here with all of these fireworks, but it's clarified by the King of Pentacles in reverse. Now, when these two cards come up together, you've got all of this dreaming, all of this vision, all of these powerful plans and projects, but without the practical, methodical, doing energy of the King of Pentacles to support it, it has nowhere to go. This is the energy of someone that's stuck, that doesn't know what's next, you know, that is just so consumed by what's happening. Yes, I've got all of these great ideas, but you're not grounded enough right now to be able to actually put any of these ideas into your reality. And so we see a lot of up in your head energy, a lot of emotional energy, but very little grounded earthy energy here. And this is about being in your present. You know, it's not, grounding isn't just about putting your feet on the ground and remembering your connection to nature. It's being present and conscious in your moment. When we're not conscious, we're essentially running a program instead in which we're not really aware of the detail of what's happening in our day. It's a kind of hyper-focused, created to help us work and get things done. But when you're in a conscious state, you sit in awareness and appreciation and gratitude. And again, I'm being reminded you know how to do this. This is the missing link for you. When you plug that in, there are so many new beginnings, so much potential for you to move forward now in such a powerful way, an explosive way. Again, there's fireworks here. You know, the Two of Wands is about indecision as well when it comes up in reverse, and it's clarified by the Seven of Wands, barriers being up, arguments and dramas getting in the way of you really focusing on this and making time for it and giving yourself the space to actually decide what you want. The Seven of Swords demonstrates a lack of strategy and the potential to run before you can walk. And so you tend to be like a firecracker. You get all excited, all involved, you get the ball rolling, and then you lose stamina, you lose focus, something distracts you, some drama comes up and it ends up being parked. A big chunk of this is to do with that scatterbrain nature of the emotional upheaval and releasing that you're going through, not just due to this relationship, but the energies that are drawing all of these energies up to be released at the moment anyway. And my throat's clearing at this point. And as it does, I'm noticing all the blue here at the center of the reading, connecting to the throat chakra. We've got surrender, mystery, and shape-shifting. I remember shape-shifting came up here with that octopus, and it's come up again here with Vela and the wolf and the horse coming through to demonstrate the energy of freedom. And I really again think this is about shifting your state of mind. Your state of being is just a state of mind which is born of your consciousness. When you connect with your consciousness, you become everything and all that is. You become comfortable in who you are because you're connected to unity. You're connected to the life force and sustenance of life. Nut reminds us that that beautiful mystery that's, you know, available to you, that you can tap into, can be available to you in an omnipresent way. You know, to being connected to it and present at all times is the goal. Surrender to this. You know, it's time to start weaving the otherworldly aspects of your life into your earthly affairs and trust that this crisis, and we have betrayal here. Again, yellow energy, the energy of betrayal is yellow is all about triggers. It's about the solar plexus. It comes through here in the card of rejection. So, you know, there's definitely been some rejection, betrayal, deceit, something going on there. I think with the Seven of Swords in reverse, that would suggest to me that the betrayal or deceit wasn't intentional. And so that's something for you to carry away with you today. But again, with entrapment, 3 and 4, not seeing a way out. And people do crazy things when they feel trapped. You know, when we're trapped, whether that's literally or metaphorically speaking, and we have nothing, you know, no power, that's what tends to bring out the ugly in most people, the shadow, because, you know, they're clutching at straws. They're desperately, you know, trying to find a semblance of control, stability, a foundation on which they can rest, and they still have power. And so it definitely feels like, you know, one or both you and this other person, or perhaps even other people, you know, we're kind of making it really, really difficult for one or the other to move, or even perhaps for one another to move. A lot of codependence here. Help from above and self-love. What powerful messages to carry you towards the end of this reading. You know, this is where you need to place your focus. And the thing is, you think it's just something that you can tap into only when you're in meditation. And again, the message here is you can tap into this whenever you need it. It's always, always here for you. So let's get some guidance, final guidance for you, pile 1. What do you need to take away with you today? We're going to go deeper into the extended as well. I want to take a deeper look at career because we touched upon it here, but I do think you're midway between projects. You're uninspired, you're stuck, you don't know what's next. Right, passion. Oh, there's another one stuck behind this. Perception and passion. Fertility. And heart chakra. Mother Earth energy. Heart is an anagram of the word earth. Very powerful when that comes through. Okay, so what other cards should we have? Let's have some more fairy cards, I think. We'll get some charms as well. We've got oath, promise, pledge, contract. We've got the solitary, dedication, self-love and focus. Elven touch, recovery, comeback, revival. Look at all that fragility, that fragile beauty in that card. So stunning. The trickster, deceit, betrayal and guile. Isn't that interesting? This has come through, this message about betrayal more than once. The elf queen, introverted, burden, responsibility. And I'm going to get some crystal cards for you. What crystals are you going to need to support you through this next stage of your journey, pile 1? Sapphire. Rainbow aura quartz. One more. Rainbow mayonite. Okay, we'll read those in a moment. Let's get some charms. Okay, one fell out. What have we got here? The record player. P.S. I love you. The clock Rolodex thingamajig. I don't know what you call that. The amethyst double terminated point. And from the tarot coins, we have number 7, the chariot, Cancerian energy. We've got the 8 of wands. That card's already come through for you. We have the page of pentacles and the 2 of pentacles. Powerful. Okay. Perception and passion. Fertility and heart chakra. This is such earthy energy. It's so beautiful. Fertility and heart chakra, I think, really stand out at me as that divine feminine energy, which we must remember is earthly. You know, divine feminine energy is the energy of creation. And that's what Mother Earth is. She is a creator. She creates all life on Earth, all of this abundance of life that supports us and sustains us here. You know, the air we breathe, the light that keeps us warm and illuminates our world, and the earth literally beneath our feet in which our food grows, with the light, the water that sustains our thirst and our bodies. We're all of these things. We're made up of all of that divine feminine energy, and you're being asked to shift your perception so that you're tapped into that more frequently. And from here you can follow your passion, because the energy is ripe. It's ripe for this right now. Again, you're in this transitional stage. All of the help is there to help drive you through this period. This is the energy of the phoenix resurrecting, the rising from the ashes, of really bringing in all of that power, all of that fated energy that was just there waiting for you. It's like a transit. And if you step into it, you're going to elevate yourself into a much calmer place. We see this power and force again with the chariot, that fiery drive that's rushing forward. The same with the 8 of wands. This is all about movement. The 2 of pentacles, change, and the page of pentacles, which remind you to just pause and consider things and trust your intuition. You've also got oath here. Promise, pledge, contract, followed by dedication to the solitary, self-love and focus. This is about committing to yourself. You're so pissed off that no one else is committing to you, that everyone seems to let you down. But look at how you're letting yourself down. You know, you have to show up for yourself. You've got to give yourself love when you wake up in the morning. When you have these conversations in your mind about how your day's gone, you've got to be mindful of how you're speaking yourself and bring that consciousness into the present, not just when you take the time out out to deliberately tune in. Recovery, comeback and revival. Remember we said about how fragile you feel right now? You know, you're coming back from this. You know, you are going to rise again and to feel powerful again. This deceit, betrayal and burden comes through again. The elf queen, responsibility and burden, and it is all closely entangled with this betrayal, the deceit up here, and the entrapment. I really think the best thing you can do about this connection right now is see it for what it is. Allow yourself to keep looking at it and believe what this person is showing you. There's no need to read between the lines. You know, there's no need to try and articulate it or understand it or to know it in every facet. It's clear as day what's happening. This person isn't healthy. Stop giving them an opportunity to make more excuses and confuse you. There's a strong message here about moving on, moving away, you know, focusing on that solitary life and giving yourself that time and space. I do think this person cares about you, but they aren't growing in the same direction that you're growing right now. Right now, you're required to keep growing on your own, and you can't keep turning back into the shadows, you know, trying to hope they catch up with you. This is your time. The numbers on this charm move from 1 to 3. You know, that's the energy of the magician, the high priestess, and the empress. It's all about that build up to divine femininity, to surrender, to mastering the mystery. You know, you're so ready for this. Pay attention to music. This is how spirit is always communicating with you. And the double terminated amethyst is reminding you that your energy works in both directions, from above and below. You are connected. Plug in to Mother Earth. I'm going to bring up the crystal cards so you can pause the video and read them because they're quite long. Sapphire, wisdom and knowledge. This is all about tapping into your own higher intuition, your higher self. We've got rainbow aura quartz. Everyone should have a piece of this. It's very, very powerful energy on rainbow aura quartz. It's coated in titanium or some other metal which helps amplify the energy of quartz. And quartz is so useful anyway because it's so versatile. It's a stone you can program with any intention or energy. So having a rainbow or a quartz is perfect anyway. Here it's listed as aura healing, magic and universal light. Remember, help from above. This is helping you connect to those higher energies, higher frequencies of light. Rainbow Mayonite, chakra alignment foundation, karma, a high vibrational crystal that allows you to face any challenging karmic patterns and pulls out the drudgery of the past. And that's what we're really seeing happen right now. It's a painful closing out to go through a cycle like this, but it's worth it. And you just needed to be reminded that you're on your way to something so big, so bright. As I said, this is fertile ground in which anything can grow. You have the power and potential to manifest so much right now. Not just calm, comfortable, happy relations around you, but real abundance, real stability. You know, it's all there for the taking when you actually connect those two dots and plug into the Earth's grid. Oh, I hope that was helpful for you, pile one. I'm going to take this over to the extended reading. We're going to go deeper. I want to look more at career, more at the relationship, and obviously get some more guidance for you as well. If this resonated, you can find a link to the extended in the description box below. But thank you so much for joining me here today. I appreciate it so much. I love doing these readings for you guys, and I appreciate you giving me an outlet to do that. And thank you for all your likes. Thank you for commenting and for subscribing today. And thank you so much to those of you that click and watch on my commercials. That really does help my channel to grow. And I am super, super grateful to those of you that take the time to exchange energy that way. Thank you. And I will see you next time. Now, don't forget the giveaway for a crystal grid, not this one, but one similar, just as pretty, is in yesterday's video. Go and check it out. If you haven't already, it's the one I posted before this one, and all the instructions how to win one of my crystal grids is in that video. Hopefully I'll see you again soon. Lots of love, pile one. Bye. Hello, pile two. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the Bumblebee Jasper, which is really appropriate because we've got the bumblebees in our grid today. Talk about that in the intro, but you might have skipped it, which is fine. You've chosen the Bohemian Animal Tarot. And today we're bringing forward messages from Mother Earth, Mother Gaia. And Earth energy pertains to everything that is connected to our reality, our home life, relationships, love, career. So we're asking Mother Earth, what do we need to know about our day-to-day living, our current circumstances? What are we not seeing? What do we need to know to help us move forward for our highest good, with more grace, with more trust, with more peace, with more joy? So we're going to be using all the charms and oracle cards as well today. There will be an extended reading if this one resonates for you. You can always find that in the description box below, the link for that. And I'm going to ask you now to tune in, take a nice deep breath, and ask Spirit for a sign. A sign can be anything at all. You definitely choose an earth symbol today, which could be an animal, a plant, flower or tree. But you can pick anything, a god, goddess or deity, numbers, a phrase, a name, whatever pops into your mind. Just trust your first instinct. And a sign is just a way for the universe to communicate with you, to help you build trust and faith in your own intuition and the messages that come forward for you. And you might notice your sign appears in other areas of your life as well. So I'm not going to read with reversals in this deck, because as you can see, the backs aren't reversible, and we've already got a hare and a fox there for those of you looking for signs. So let's do this part 2. What does Mother Earth want you to know? 7 of Cups. So that's all about dreams and illusions. The God or the Emperor, number 4. And we've got stag or deer energy there. Aries energy as well. The Page of Swords. The Knight of Water or Knight of Cups. The 4 of Wands. Little raccoons there. Let's move these up a bit. And the Shaman, the Hierophant, number 5. Do you know what's really incredible about that? That exact same card showed up in that exact same position for pile 1. The Hierophant, the Shaman, as well as the Indigenous priest. You know, the holy man of our Indigenous culture. Okay, clarifying. This is very powerful energies for you, part 2. The Page of Wands. And that's a meerkat. The 9 of Swords, and we have frog energy there, or I think it's frog or salamander. The 3 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles. The Lovers. And the 6 of Cups. And let's go with the messages from your Spirit Animals deck. The Mountain Goat. The Ladybug, or Ladybird as we call it in England. And the Cardinal. Redbird. Okay. Angels and Ancestors. All the decks I use are listed in the description box below, by the way. The High Priestess. The Spirit Fox, some more fox energy coming through for you. And one more. The High Priest. Look at that and how they're facing each other. High Priest and High Priestess. So powerful, pile 2. These are union energies. Okay. From the Faery Forest Oracle, we've got Salu. That also came up for pile 1. Otherworld, this also came up for pile 1. Isn't that interesting? And She Who Laughs, humour, perspective and mirth. Okay, pile 2. Such powerful, interesting energies for you. This feels like the beginnings of creation, the beginnings of a new stage. You are transitioning out of a state of, you know, relative surrender towards this energy of true union with self. Despite this, it does feel like there's been some upheaval that's brought you and your family crashing together recently. Any kind of animosity that was in the past is all being brought to the surface and released because something else has happened around you that has brought you back together and has become the primary focus. I'm really drawn to this 10 of Pentacles. You know, this connection to family energy and stability and you coming in here as this Knight of Cups, you know, feeling compelled to give, to forgive and to give. And if we think about forgiveness as a word, it's for giving. You know, it's about giving love, giving compassion. There's definitely been a beautiful shift in you that has allowed you to release a lot of the burdens of the past. This is part of your ascension in which you gain control of your life. So interesting to me again that the Nine of Swords shows up here as it did for pile 1. It does feel like collectively with the B, remember, symbolizing that community energy, people are really letting go of many ancestral cycles, many family dysfunctional patterns that are kind of being released right now. But you can see the future. There's something profoundly prophetic about how you perceive the way forward. And even though you feel like you're in your infancy on your journey, even though you have all of this humility, even though you're so humble, actually you are now lording over your own life with these godly qualities, these energies of creation. You know, you've got more mastery of the mind. But this is a time to collaborate. You know, this is what we see happening within the family unit. A period of coming together, of celebration despite sadness is what I'm hearing. And I feel like this counterpart that's been there in a background is coming in to make an offering, because as these tides turn, you're actually creating space for that to happen. It feels like you finally realized that when you connect A to B, you know, when you use all of this power of creation, that you actually get into that flow of abundance and the universe delivering to exactly what it is that you're dreaming about. It all begins with your vision. You are literally creating the way forward, and it's now rolling on a tide of positive energy. And yet there does feel like there's great sadness beneath all of this. You know, it's taken you a long time to arrive at this point, and you can still feel it kind of loosening at the edges of you. You can still feel it there, present in your field. But this is such a powerful shift and new beginning for you, pile 2. You know, I definitely think that there's this energy of this connection in the background, this counterpart, and we can see that apart from these family interactions, you've led a very solitary life recently. But this is the coming together. You may have noticed that communication's ticked up slightly. It seems very friendly. It feels like not much is happening. But again, we finally see neither party running, neither party chasing. We've got the High Priest and the High Priestess, and they're facing each other with the spirit of the fox, upholding the energy of that connection, which says, trust your talents in changing times. And times are changing. You know, we are going through, I was going to say growing through, and that's still appropriate, but we're evolving as a race of people. Humanity is evolving, the planet is ascending, people are waking up. On this side with the divine feminine energy, we've got the cat, that symbol of intuition, and they're here with the masculine energy, the falcon, the hawk, which reminds us of that intuition comes from higher perspective. We have to connect above and below. Very powerful messages coming from for you here. Mountain goat, there's something out of balance in your life, so do whatever you need to do to correct it. What's interesting about this is that as I started reading for you, my knees have started hurting. Now, knees are very, very important. When we feel a weakness in the knees or a degeneration, a stiffness, any uncomfortable energy in the knees, and it gathers there, you need to see this as your fear of not being able to carry yourself through life. When you think about what the knees do in relation to the body, they actually allow us to be flexible to the terrain that we're navigating. Without knees, we wouldn't be able to climb or cross difficult terrain like the mountain goat. And so the knees are all about flexibility. And so when our knees are stiff, they're aching, or we have discomfort there, it's symbolic of how resistant we are to the changes that are presenting, how we're not allowing ourselves to move with the energy that the terrain requires. So you're definitely being asked to let go. Something is out of balance here, and it's down to your refusal to flow with what's occurring. You know, your knees aren't offering you that flexibility to move across that terrain with the intended suspension, which, you know, suspension is what stops you from feeling like you're having a turbulent ride. We could associate it in this instance with that energy of alignment. The ladybug, this is a time of good fortune and abundance. Be willing to receive all the good things in your life. It's coming to you. It's flowing to you in powerful abundance right now, you know, and you are connected to that flow. You're being asked to ease into it even more. It's like you've just taken, I was going to say flight, but you've just set off at the shoreline. You've just started swimming out into deeper waters, and you're being asked to trust that you can carry yourself. The gathering in of energy in your knees is symbolic of the anxiety or the fear you feel that you won't be able to get through this. But Spirit's reminding you how much you've come through already. Look at how far you've come. Look at where you are. You perceive yourself as a beginner, but you are a creator. Everything is happening for you right now. We've got the polarities of your spiritual pursuits and physical pleasures are out of balance. So do whatever is necessary to bring them back into equilibrium. And again, the polarities of your spiritual pursuits and physical pleasures are out of balance. This same message came through for part 1. This is about connecting your spiritual understanding and your creation of energy and power that you probably used in your work life, and recognizing now that you need to plug it into your earthly reality. This is about grounding that energy. You've got She Who Laughs, vitality, health and energy, and transition. Remember, we had transition here again with the Hierophant. Transition's always uncomfortable, but you are leveling up. You know, it's not going to be easy riding. There's been a lot of loss, and it definitely feels like so interesting because, again, grief came through in part 1. There's been a grief that has knitted part of your community together and allowed you to envision a different way forward from what you expected before. And this release of expectations has created space. It's created space for this connection in the background, you know, this loving connection to actually start grounding. Trust your talents in changing times. Both of you are shifting and moving through this turbulence, and you're facing each other. No one's running, no one's chasing. This is a significant step forward for you, part 2 even. So similar to part 1's. I definitely recommend you guys check that out. I feel like this pile is a little bit further ahead of the game. The perspective's slightly different, but very similar circumstances in terms of plugging that in, or sorry, similar messages in terms of plugging in to the Earth's grid, which is not surprising given that we're asking Mother Nature, I guess. Okay, from the Heal Yourself cards, let's get some more tarot cards first. Actually, what do you need to know about life and career right now, part 2? The 5 of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, Mother Earth, the Moon, the Afterlife, more fox energy coming through for you there, lots of wolf energy. We've got iguana, fish, tortoise, turtle energy. I'm not sure what creature that is. Is that an aardvark? Someone will have to tell me. I think it's an aardvark. We've got a monkey, giraffe and foxes here, crab. Queen of Wands, that also came up in part 1. And the Ace of Cups with Jaguar energy there in the background. And clarifying these, please. Ace of Swords. The World. The King of Pentacles, that's so interesting. Consequences, Justice, number 11. The Chariot, number 7. And the King of Swords, more eagle energy there. This is so powerful. Wow. Okay, let's get the Goddess Oracle. Some of these. Azumi, laughter. So laughter's come through for you twice. You know, working with humour, joy, light-heartedness. Vila, shape-shifting. This also came through for part 1. More wolf energy there. Lakshmi, abundance. Nut, mystery. This also came through for part 1. Pele, awakening. And let's get the Sacred Geometry activation cards. What activations are you receiving right now? Consciousness. Authority. And empowerment. That is beautiful. Eclipse season's big for you, part 2. So you're releasing a lot of old patterns connected to rejection. You're connecting with the truth of what these meant, that feeling of being left out in the cold was actually an illusion. You are connecting with this energy of understanding what's inside of you and arriving at this energy of completion and wholeness. You've got the Queen of Pentacles here, clarified by the world. You know, that is a state of unity, a state of union with self. Not only that, but you have the Moon here, clarified by the King of Pentacles, trusting in your intuition and being able to stabilize yourself as a result of it. We have the Afterlife here, which is a bonus card in this deck, which reminds us that there are consequences to previous lifetimes, karma, if you would, or lessons, you know, contracts that needed to be closed out. There's that Fox energy coming in again for you there. And this is all coming full circle now. You know, that cycle is moving forward and past and beyond those contracted karmic lessons that needed to be applied. It feels like you've transcended all of that and you're ready to move forward. The Queen of Fire combined with the Chariot, you know, all of that rapid fire forward momentum, that divine intervention, and this recognition of self-love in balance with the mind. There is a message here about not waiting for someone else for a project. Like, it feels like you've felt this project itching at yourself for a while, but you've been relying on someone else's involvement in this. And the message here is, speak what you need to speak, you know, go ahead with the project regardless. This is your time. The timing isn't right for you, and you don't need to wait for other people to be involved in this. You can take the reins and you can drive this forward, and that's okay. It does feel like you have a lot of clarity right now. You know, even though it's been tumultuous, the awareness here is certainly a heightened state. And we see, except for in the Moon, which, you know, we've got these two wolves here dressed up in he and she clothes. So again, more of that divine masculine feminine union. You've got the same here with the King and Queen of Pentacles. It feels like you two haven't come together yet, but in the background, energetically, there is so much coming together, so much realization, recognition as you step into this faith, which has been very hard won. You know, you've worked really hard for this stage in your life. You are literally going to step into it all. This is your moment, pile 2. You've got laughter, shape-shifting, abundance, mystery, awakening. You've also got consciousness. You know, the activations you're receiving now are elevating you higher and higher, giving you a broader and broader reach with which to tap in to the unknown so that you can know the very next step. Now that you're not projecting into the future, you can feel into the very next step. You're trusting that dance in the dark. You know, you've let go of all of that karma, and it feels like your partner has too. Again, we've got this goat here. You know, look, if we see the person here with a fortune teller, where's the goat energy at? Here we go. You know, we can see that it's a ram with those curly horns. You know, that Aries energy, that drive, that determination that's kept you both stuck on the spot, you know, treading water. It was needed to help you transcend and resolve all of the other energies that still had to be closed out. And it feels like that's done. Like a whole weight has been lifted. The grievances of the past, the animosity, it's all melting away just to reveal a clear path forward. You know, authority and empowerment. This is about truly understanding who you are, what you're capable of, and stepping into it. Everything is happening for you right now in such a beautiful and powerful way, pile 2. It may not feel like that. Like, if the similarities here between pile 1, very similar. It's just a different layer of leveling up. Pile 1 definitely feels more traumatic, but honestly, these are very, very similar readings, and you may relate to both. But I definitely feel like this pile specifically is guiding you back towards your counterpart. This is arriving at union energies. And let's remember that union energies isn't necessarily immediate physical coming together. It's a balancing of energies, like we see here with the High Priestess and the High Priest are facing one another and daring to stay present and still and facing one another in a balanced, harmonious energy. It's a spark of creation, a spark of life, a complete new beginning. So long as you can continue to face each other, you know, offering and receiving love in equal measure. There's so much balance, symmetry and harmony. We see the macabre indicated, that state of higher consciousness. You know, this is the new beginning for the chapter of union. in this connection. You know, that's what we're seeing here. And you having all the skills and tools available to you to actually step into that. Pile 1, it feels like I still need to go through that hermit phase. You've been in hermit phase. You know, apart from interactions with family, you've been in hermit phase anyway. You've moved through that period. This is why you're at this stage of clarity now. Oh, such big energies. Okay, let's see what the guidance is for you. Pile 2, what's the guidance from Mother Earth for you? Unleash your creativity, pride, entrapment, sexual arts. I kind of had an inward groan like, oh God, no, it's been a long time. And that one come up. Home, that's so interesting. I feel like we need to get some more animals and fairy cards. Let's start with the spirit animal messages. Roadrunner. Condor. So much bird energy came through for you in this reading. And another one, kiwi. Hint towards New Zealand there. Platypus. And seagull also came out for pile 1. Okay, from our fairy cards. King of the Darkwood Elves, authority, has come through twice to you. Oath, promise, pledge or contract. And the solitary, dedication, self-love and focus. Interesting, these two also came out for pile 1. So many things. Okay, let's get some charms as well. Okay, there's quite a few here. We've got good vibes. Crescent moon, wizard in training, BS remover, slightly bitter, keep going, keep growing, and the turquoise bead. So it feels like you've been stagnating recently. You've been frustrated. Not sure which direction to grow in. You've been feeling like things have just been kind of, you know, unmoving for some time. And again, I'm getting this energy of feeling stuck because someone else that's connected to this project or your career isn't moving at the same pace as you. You're ready to take off with this and they're not ready. But there is an energy here about not being sure if you've got what it takes. Again, that knee thing coming through. And authority. You know, you've got to take control of this. You've got to be your own boss. You've got to strategize now and actually make this happen. Now is the time to unleash all of that force in you that's been dying to get this project out in the open and to create it. We've got Roadrunner. Keep your sense of humor and don't take things seriously. The energy of laughter has come through 3 times to you. It's important to keep it lighthearted, to keep the vibes good and strong. You know, trust in your intuition, but this is about removing mask and trusting the people around you not to be too proud. I think one of the reasons maybe you're still waiting out for this person is because you don't want to turn around and say, I'm ready to go, you're either in or out. You know, you're worried about how they're going to react, but actually I'm hearing this is a kind of 8 of Swords energy. It's an anxiety which is not rooted in reality. It's just a fear. I really think this person's going to be able to show you their light side and to be able to kind of relax the energy around you here. I think it's going to be okay. Sexual arts, there's something connected to what you've been learning and what you need to articulate and express that's connected to the power of sacral or sexual energy. Again, this is all about unleashing creativity and that divine powerful force that's to be found in that soulmate connection, in the counterpart energy. You know, now is also the time to buy a home. If that's been something you've been planning and waiting for, then now is the time to do that if you're ready to do that. And I mean, it feels like this is a message for people that have been building that nest egg, getting ready to do it, have the funds, they're ready to go, but for one reason or another haven't taken that leap. I'm hearing the stars are aligned for you right now, pile 2. Everything you touch will turn to gold. Literally, the universe has your back because you've stepped into that energy of unity and creation. Now is the time to purchase and to trust in that investment. If you're not in the market to buy a house and weren't thinking about it, that part of the message probably wasn't meant for you. But Condor, you're too enmeshed in this situation. Step back and see the bigger picture before making decisions or take action. And this, I think, again, is referring to this prideful energy that exists between you and this collaborator or colleague that you've been working with that's dragging their feet. Kiwi, do a walking meditation each day for the next week. And this, again, my knees immediately twinged when I read this card. This is about trusting that you can carry yourself there. This particular fear of not feeling safe in your independence, even though your ego convinces you are, is revealed in the issues you're having in and around your knee joints. And by focusing on the physical of that and showing yourself that you can take care of your body, that your body can carry you, you're reinforcing that underlying strength as well, that remind you, I've got this, I can do this, you know. So definitely the physiological symbol is a connection to that emotional root, and both of these need to be focused on. Stop complaining and focus your attention on the blessings in your life. It does feel like you've had a lot of loss recently. Again, that keeps coming up. And, you know, I do think for the most part, you are seeing that bigger picture. It does feel here with the platypus specifically being deep under the water, that I do think you're allowing yourself to grieve in a really healthy way. You've supported your family in a really healthy way. And for me, this is the energy of really recognizing your own power and productivity in moving through that grief process. We've got Seagull here as well. Now is the time for deep emotional healing, and this is also strongly connected to that putting down roots, you know, to recognizing that in itself is a statement or intention of stability, of independence, of self-sufficiency. You know, if it feels like that will be a very important move for you. There is a slight bitterness. And again, this boils back to the stagnating energy and not feeling like you'd grown enough. We've got Wizard in training here. And again, I think this is about not necessarily giving yourself the credit. Hold on, my dog's kind of choking on his own mouth. What's the problem? What's up, Pip? Oh, you're a good boy. Pardon me. You've not given yourself credit for how much you've grown. Stop comparing yourself. Stop looking backwards. You know, this is about recognizing that you're always coming into the next bloom. Do you know, I've got some gerberas growing outside, and they're such fascinating plants because they send up these beautiful blooms, and even as those ones begin to die, there's another one, kind of a little spiral popping out the earth ready to take its place. And I feel like each time we shift or we ascend, a little part of you dies, and it can be really painful to let it go, to kind of allow yourself to be reborn again, you know, as this new bloom. And it feels like you have been stuck in that situation for a while of not knowing which direction to move in. Again, that's that resistance coming through, not allowing yourself to kind of unfurl as this new bloom, and being stuck in your ways or of where you think you should be. Authority came up again for you, credibility and status. Again, this is all about trusting yourself, learning to trust yourself, believing in your own status. When you're comparing yourself to other people, you know, you're essentially giving your own power away, you know, because it's not healthy or good for you to be in the energy of comparing. You're assuming that they're judging you. You're assuming that other people are better than you, but that's just your perception of self. You know, the things you see in others that you would like to step into, rather than being triggered or bitter about that, recognize that it takes one to know one. All of the things you admire about these people are the unexpressed parts of yourself. It's in you too, and that's why you're relating. You know, those contracts are coming to an end. Those pledges, those promises, the things that have kept you stuck, all of those cycles are closing off now, and you can be dedicated to yourself. You don't need to really consider anyone's needs anymore. I'm hearing that you do have the freedom to live for you and to live in the way that serves you and suits you at this moment in time. There's just something been holding you back, and again, knees are twinging. It's connected to that feeling, can I really let go and carry this forward? Do I have enough sustenance behind me to drive it? You know, it felt like you were clinging on to these colleagues or collaborators and you didn't need them. It was always a crutch or a safety net for you. You just didn't realize it. So, you know, you are so much more grown than you give yourself credit for, pile two. You've come forward leaps and bounds, and this can be evidenced again with that, you know, how your counterpart is facing you. You know, they are ready to stand still with you and to see what happens next. And that demonstrates such a tremendous strength, courage, trust, and safety and vulnerability. So you really ought to pat yourself on the back, continue grounding this energy, bringing your power into the 3D now, allowing it to nurture and create, you know, the path forward. So I really hope that helps. Now we're going to take this over to the extended now. So if this resonated for you, you can find a link to that in the description box below. But thank you so much for joining me here today. It was a pleasure as always. Love reading for you guys. And thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you so much for your beautiful comments and for subscribing. And thank you to the very special and very generous souls that take the time to watch my commercials or click on the adverts. I get a tiny bit of revenue every time someone does that. I think it's per 1,000 people I get a little token payment from YouTube. But it does help to keep things ticking over, and it also tells YouTube you like it and enjoy my content, and they'll keep promoting me. So thank you so much. It really is a perfect energy exchange, and I appreciate it so very much. I'll see you next time, part 2. Lots of love. Oh, and actually, as I say that, wasp energy has just come in again. I'm telling you, they're stalking us right now. Wasp and bee energy is everywhere. Keep a lookout for it. It's definitely a sign for us all right now. Look into what that means, bee symbology, because I swear to God, there's a huge collective shift right now, and we're all in this together. I'll see you next time. Lots of love. Bye. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the King Cobra Jasper and the Magical Dogs Tarot, and we are bringing forward messages today from Mother Earth. Remember, Mother Earth is divinely feminine. It's comforting, stabilizing, nurturing and supportive energy, and earth energy is also connected to the practical realms of our life: home, relationships, family, work. It's all in there, all of that day-to-day living. And so this reading's really focused on that, on your present, what's going on in your life, what you need to know about how you're moving forward, what's happening for you right now in love, life, career, and everything that is earthly to you. So we're going to use the tarot cards that you've chosen. We're going to use the oracle, the charms, the tarot coins. There will be an extended reading today, and just take a moment to take a nice long deep breath and choose a sign. A sign is just offering up to the universe a way through which it can communicate to you the messages you need, because all signs are symbolic. And just see what pops into your head right now. It could be an animal, a symbol, a god, goddess or deity, a tree, anything connected to the earth, a specific crystal. And you may notice that this sign appears outside of your zone of awareness, outside of the zone of this reading as well, in other areas of your awareness. And look up what that sign means as well, how it's symbolic to you. Because when it shows up, I might describe it in one way, but I think it's really important to recognize about signs and symbols is that it's what we know about them and how we relate to them. You know, the universe will always communicate with us in ways which we personally understand and receive. For example, to me, yellow is a colour of joy and vitality and power, but to some people it could mean something else. You know, they may associate yellow with the energy of childhood or the energy of anger. So how you relate to symbols is also important. It's wise to listen to your own intuition first, but do look it up and help you connect the dots. So let's do this. Don't choose a dog because you've chosen the dog tarot and that would be too obvious. Okay, and whilst I'm shuffling as well, remember there's a giveaway running at the moment. You need to catch up with yesterday's video if you'd like to know how to enter that. I'm giving away one of my crystal grids, not this one, but we've got the bumblebees here today. If you skip the intro, I keep finding them everywhere, unfortunately. Bumblebees that have passed over, but and wasps as well, but I've been including them in my grids to honor the symbolic meaning of their arrival, which I believe is to do with the collective and community. I'm still figuring it out what it means to me. But let's see what comes through for you, pile 3 even. What's going on in your earthly affairs right now? We've got the Tower, so a lot of disruption, turbulence, upheaval, old systems crumbling. We've got the 5 of Wands in reverse, an end to a competition or conflict, releasing games. We've got the Earth Alpha Female, that's the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. We've got the 3 of Pentacles, collaboration, community and teamwork. We've got the Five of Wands. I beg your pardon, that's the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So that's actually rejection, releasing rejection. Here we've got that competition or conflict. The Two of Pentacles. Let's just move these up. And clarifying these, we've got strength. We've got the Ace of Cups in reverse. We've got the Seven of Cups in reverse. We've got the Fool. We've got the Sun. And we've got the Seven of Pentacles. And from the Spirit Animal Messages deck, all the decks I use are listed in the description box below if you're interested. We've got Chameleon, Pueo, the Hawaiian owl, and we've got Emu. And from the Angels and Ancestors deck, Heart Guardian, love and let yourself be loved. And Warrior, be fearless and stand strong. And from the Fairy Forest Oracle, we've got Soulkin, family and kinship. The Green Man, initiative and fertility. And the Elf Queen, responsibility. Okay, pile 3. A tremendous amount of upheaval right now, and do you know, we're seeing a real pattern within the collective, within all the piles today, of old cycles closing out, breaking down, and these brand new beginnings. And right now you are standing in the energy of courage, the energy of courage and strength. You are releasing pride. This is such a significant pattern that we're seeing move through the entire conscious collective right now. Like, not just in these readings today, but again, the bee showing up, that symbol of collective energy and community-oriented shifts and changes. It does feel like the eclipses, the major supermoons that we've had coming through, and obviously as we move into Cancerian energy, which is very much connected to the gooey part inside of us, you know, peeling back the layers of that tough exterior. It feels like very transformative energies sweeping through, and definitely we see the same for you. You know, this fire spirit purifying the situation, and it may have appeared, you know, when I see thunderbolts of lightning, I always think of divine intervention. You know, it is literally the earth striking down and creating powerful, forceful change. And we see the fire here burning away what's no longer needed. And these dogs, which, remember, dogs are symbolic of companionship, friendship. And so even the fact that you chose the Dog Tarot, it makes me feel that this is a very lonely period in your life, because as you're growing, as you're ascending, you're like a tall oak tree among saplings, and you may feel very lonely, very alienated, feeling like no one understands who you are. And yet what this is actually demonstrating is that you're on the precipice of moving from duality into unity. You've gone through that hermit mode energy, and of course duality is that energy of feeling separate. And so as you've ascended, you've actually become even more separate, or the illusion, the feeling is that you're even more separate. No one understands me anymore. And it's a bit like being in a field of, you know, saplings, and they're all talking about what they can see within their zone of awareness, and you're saying, but look over there in the distance, this is happening, and they're like, we have no clue what you're talking about. We don't want to talk about that, we don't get it. And so you feel very alienated, very isolated, but actually what you're doing is getting closer to unity consciousness. You're getting closer to oneness. When you break through that barrier, you're actually going to feel connected to everyone again. And so there's a powerful message here from Mother Earth about this period of solitude and loneliness in your life. You know, old friends dropping away, the social interactions that you've been experiencing within family, love and friendships, all kind of breaking down, breaking away and transforming before your very eyes, and perhaps feeling stuck in a lonely place with this. That Five of Pentacles in reverse reminders that the transition here is closing out rejection cycles, really learning to stand in your own power, to be self-sufficient in your sustenance. And we see with the Ace of Cups in reverse here that you haven't yet learned how to fill your own cup. You're still feeling that loneliness. You're still feeling that isolation. You've taken the really difficult steps of detaching and finding yourself that peace, space and solitude. Now it's about finding comfort within it. And we see here the Queen of Pentacles in reverse reveals how unstable you feel. And perhaps with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse here as well, how stuck you feel, unable to move forward, feeling impatient now. There's this energy of I've done so much work. You know, I've worked so very hard to get here. Why aren't I connecting to all of that joy and that peace that I was told I would arrive at when I came into union with myself? How is it that I've ended up feeling even more lonely and separate and different from everyone in reverse? There may have been times of intense doubt where you wish you could unwind the clock, ignorance is bliss kind of energy, you know? And it's that reminder of once the mind is expanded, it can never revert to its previous form. Energy once transformed can only continue to evolve and transform. It can never go back to an older state. And you're feeling the pain of that transitional period. The key here for you is to embrace this new beginning. And again, there's a kind of constance in the messages in the piles today. Different circumstances, different things standing out for each of you, but the message is the same. This is a stage of transformation. There's powerful releasing here. It's time to face the family unit again, to recognize that camaraderie and that love. And there's definitely a lot of disparity here between your connection and family and stability and dysfunction. It feels like you may have detached from your family with this understanding that they just don't add any value. They bring more stress to the equation. You know, they're still too dysfunctional. They don't see your perspective. You've changed and they haven't. But what you're being challenged to do here is from this more grown and evolved state to face them and accept them as they are, and to recognize there is love there. There is companionship and sustenance and friendship there, to be an acceptance of how that presents, and to recognize that you now have the clarity to establish healthy boundaries so that you can enjoy those relationships in a way that's safe and comfortable for you, that allows you to step away when that feels right to do so, that you can have this happy new beginning with them. But you do need to stand in acceptance of how things are, to release your desire to change that situation and to step into it in a way that's just accepting of how it presents, so that you can embrace and embody all the gifts and love that are there, even if they're not what you thought they should be, and even if they look different to what you thought you needed. Companionship is important, and even though your family may have created a lot of upheaval and trauma in your life, they have also loved you and provided a lot of joy, and you're being asked to reflect on those pieces and to recognize that you can tap in to that energy is still available to you. The Five of Fire, or the Five of Wands, is about competitiveness. And because this is connected to the Sun, I'm hearing some kind of sibling rivalry here, and possibly a narcissistic parents that, you know, played you off against one another. Narcissistic parents, or I should say parents with narcissistic tendencies, they may not be full-blown narcissist, but with narcissistic behaviors, have a tendency towards scapegoating one child and elevating, kind of glorifying the other. And if there's more than one or two, and then that dynamic can become even complicated. If you're a middle child, that would have been particularly challenging for you, because it's usually the younger and the older children that are revered, and those middle ones end up being the scapegoats. But for sure, there's some kind of sibling comparison, competitiveness and rivalry here, a lot of bitterness that's being recognized and released, connected to those relationships. And again, you're being called to step into that childlike joy, to release and to forgive, and to just embrace the relationships as they are and enjoy them with that childhood pleasure of, you know, just youthful innocence. The Two of Pentacles reminds us of that change and the balance that's required in change. And remember, we're talking about being the big oak tree, and we see this very large dog here with a little one, and yet between them they can still create harmony. This is a powerful reminder that not everyone has to be on your level for you to be able to have an enjoyable experience with them and to be in their present. Everyone has some joy to bring us, some love to give, something beautiful to teach us, no matter where they they are at on their own path, because we really are so unique. It feels like you felt uncomfortable expressing this energy to others as well, about how you're feeling so detached and no one gets you, because you're worried that they're going to perceive that as you saying, you know, I somehow know more than you, or I see more than you. And it isn't like that at all. You know, energy isn't linear. Growth isn't linear. We have to stop thinking about it in the logical 3D terms that, you know, the logical mind wants to track it in a linear fashion to measure the performance of it. But growth is actually expansive. It's about moving in every direction and still being where you are, but having access to more. And that can initially feel solitary if you don't have anyone to share those more expansive concepts with. But recognize that if those people haven't shown up in your life right now, it's because you're still needing to process energy in an independent way. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't mean that you'll never have someone to talk to again about these topics, but you are being asked to recognize and blend these changes with your existing environment. And again, to recognize that the people that are in your zone of awareness can meet you in a balanced way. You can still share what's happening to you, and they can still be a support to you. We've got the Seven of Pentacles here. I beg your pardon, that was the Seven of Cups in reverse. I don't think it's an accident that I got these cards mixed up. But the Seven of Cups in reverse was, I interpreted that as the lack of investment, and perhaps that message needed to come through. But the Seven of Cups in reverse is also about letting go of expectations, letting go of the visions. And this, I think, is why you're feeling so unstable. Similar message to what came through for pile 2. Almost, you know, when your expectations have collapsed and the tower's burned it all away, you're not really sure what's next. And that can be terrifying, but it's also very liberating. You know, the vision is shattered, the daydream is shattered, the rose-tinted spectacles are off, but now you have a chance to build something on a firm, a more viable foundation. It is the time for investment, but also the time for patience. But the ground is fertile. Look at the bunnies here, that representation of fragility and also fertility. You know, so much growth, so much expansion happening for you. Fertility comes in again with the green man, and it says here initiative, fertilization and action. Soulkin is strongly referenced, this connection to your family, recognition, family and kinship. You're all cut from the same cloth. You're all carrying these same ancestral patterns of pain, and you've all reacted differently to them, but you've all done your best, and there is a real love in these connections. There's also a lot of pain still, but you're doing such a beautiful job of transmuting your pain. Allow yourself now to use that expanded awareness, that higher consciousness, to enable you to forgive and to receive these people as they're at a different stage in their journey. Remember, it's not a race. Everyone's at a different part on their path. Look, these two are still beating the shit out of each other. These two in the background. You know, so there may still be dramas there, and you know, you may find yourself wishing, oh God, why do they have to be so dramatic? You know, why do they always have to create arguments or conflict or competition? But from this position you have, you can create some balance there. It's not about educating them. It's just about being present and removing yourself when it gets too much, but allowing yourself to be present for the joy and the light that does exist there. And by being present, even without saying anything, without educating, without guiding, by being present with your light, you're helping to illuminate the whole circle. You know, that circle of trust that does exist between you. You've got chameleon here. Stay in the background and adapt to the situation rather than being conspicuous and attempting to direct the course of events. You know, this is Mother Earth saying, just allow yourself to be flexible. And again, this is a message that came through in all piles, to be flexible with the energies that present. Stop trying to resist them. Stop trying to wish they were something else. Step into this joyful energy of, okay, this is how it is, and I'm going to roll with it until I need to return myself to my own solitary space to regroup. You've got Pueo. You know, the owls are always symbolic of wisdom, but here again, your ancestral spirit guides are offering you guidance right now. Pay close attention to signs and omens from them. Now, if you ask for an owl, that's a very powerful message for you, but pay attention to where owls show up for you, or even your messages. Ask specifically, you know, think to yourself, okay, what is the message for ancestral guide? What's the sign? See what pops into your head. Let's say it is an owl, or it's a cat, or it's a dog. You'll know that when that sign pops up, it's drawing your attention back to the ancestral patterns, the guidance that is there. It's asking you to think more clearly about what's cropping up for you. You've got emo. This is a good time to go on a new adventure. Remember, we had that Ace of Pentacles as well. You know, this is all about a new beginning. Sorry, not the Ace of Pentacles, the Fool. You know, a new path, transformation. This is such a lovely Fool card, because traditionally we see the Fool leaping off a cliff, but actually that we have the butterfly here, symbolic of that forward momentum, the light behind us, and the dog just has that freedom to continue along the path like it's already been laid out for them. You know, there is no confusion, there is no leaping off cliffs. The only faith that you need to carry with you right now is in your own potential to sit in that expanded consciousness that you've worked so hard to develop. Love and let yourself be loved. In order to do that, you have to be present with love. Again, this is asking you to step back in to the home affairs that you've kind of detached yourself from to cope. You've needed that solitude, you've needed that time alone, but now's the time to be fearless and stand strong, to step into that strength and to move back into these connections with purpose from this new grown place, to recognize your power, to create harmony and balance. And we've got the Elf Queen here. It says introverted burden responsibility, and that's how you've been feeling. You know, I'm out here on my own, the only one who sees what's going on. It's so lonely. Everyone's having these stupid arguments and I haven't even got the energy to try and make it right. You don't need to make it right. It's great that you have that clarity. You don't need to share it. You don't need to educate anyone. When that clarity tells you this is too much now, that's when you detach and move away. You don't have to defend anything. You don't have to justify yourself to anyone. You don't have to share your 2 cents. You can just show up for the good parts. It's not saying that you shouldn't offer guidance when called upon to do so, but recognize that you don't have to be intertwined with every drama. You've learned about healthy boundaries and you've been tendering those issues in your life. Now that it's all melting away, you're scared. You've been left feeling alone. Did I go too far? Are my boundaries too firm? But I don't think I can go back, because from here I can see how stressful that situation is. You're being called to trust in your strength and courage to go back, pile 3. This is going to be okay. Whew, deep stuff. Let's see what else is coming through for you. We've got the Magician in reverse. We've got the Empress. We've got the 9 of Pentacles. We've got the Trickster, which is the Devil in reverse. We've got the Death card in reverse. And we've got the 6 of Cups. Clarifying, we've got the 10 of Cups. Beautiful. We've got the Dog Star, or the Star in reverse. We've got Justice in reverse. We've got the Fire Alpha Female, or the Queen of Wands. We've got the Seer. This is also the Hanged Man, number 12. And we've got the 6 of Pentacles. So 2 6s there. Remembering 6 is the number of love. But love has 2 sides. It's either conditional or unconditional. Both still come from a place of love. But there's a difference here that's being spelled out to you right now in your interactions with specifically love. And also I'm seeing the work life. At the moment you feel disempowered. And again, this is a strong pattern that has come through all piles. This is not recognizing the power of your own force, the power of your own ability, and the power of your own skill. When the Magician comes up in reverse, you know, this is about not identifying with the tools you already have at your disposal to achieve emotional balance and harmony. And the 10 of Cups is specifically related to family and family balance and harmony and love. You know, you see the caregivers here with the children. It's a beautiful, happy scene. You know, so you're not recognizing your power to actually calm and be a light presence in this situation in a way that you can also enjoy it. This is the epitome of divine feminine energy that you're being asked to embody, to step into that nurturing, caring, receptive energy, and with the Star in reverse, to reignite your sense of optimism in this situation. When you do that, everything comes back into balance. This Nine of Pentacles reminds you that you've created a stable base from yourself. You are self-sufficient. You don't need the family now. There is no codependence. There is no expectation of what they're supposed to deliver to you. There is simply awareness that you already have everything you need, and they are a happy bonus and contribution to your life. And at any point in which they become otherwise, you can just simply walk away and go home to this stable base you've created for yourself. When justice comes up in reverse, again, it shows us that that lesson, the cycle of that lesson is complete. You're now being asked to step into this new state of being, to allow that cycle to close off. We've got the Devil in reverse, again, that release of codependence, which empowers you into that spiritual divine femininity, again, with this Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands has come out for every pile. She is the Queen of Spirit. The Queen of Fire, the Queen of Light, the main alpha female. This is you in control of your own life, embracing this transformation, stepping into the energy of the seer, which, by the way, is the porcupine. Some of you needed to hear that. And, the Hanged Man is about surrender. It's about seeing everything from that more expansive perspective. This creates an opening for love, healthy, balanced, soulmate, reciprocal love. We see the Six of Cups here, all the animals coming into the water together, everything coming to fruition. The Six of Pentacles, we see a similar scene. They're all sharing the food. This is about mutual reciprocity. In having stepped out of these expectations, in having released those people that you had all of this drama with to just be themselves, and having taken ultimate responsibility for yourself, which is coming through here, you're now in a position to balance that heart chakra, which is about giving and receiving in equal measure. You've created space for that to happen. These are powerful, powerful energies coming for you, pile 3. I need to understand a little bit more about career. Now, I'm feeling like right now, as far as your practical work affairs are going, there's something stable, balanced, solid and abundant about that energy. You're doing good. Whatever it is you're doing, there's something good about there's lots of boxes being ticked there, but there's a niggle beneath the surface is what I'm hearing. So we've got the Ace of Swords, I beg your pardon, in reverse. Drum energy has also come in for all of the readings today. I encourage you to look at what the drum means and what it does physiologically to our body. It's the rhythm of the heartbeat, the rhythm of Mother Earth. But I feel like even though the work you're doing right now ticks a lot of practical boxes, it does actually feel like you're not aligned with your true path. Even though you're enjoying it and it's good and it's kind of working out, there's a little niggling voice in you that says, this isn't what I'm meant to be doing. And you don't know what you're meant to be doing yet, and that's okay. Again, you're being reminded that the truth will be revealed. The true path will open itself up to you as you proceed along this path. You just have to keep going. We've got the Call, which is Judgment in reverse. Now is not the time for that revelation. You're still bringing balance, harmony and stability to the relationships. You're still balancing the emotional body. There's definitely a relationship in the background here that's going to appear again soon with a much more open, aspected kind of interaction. It feels like there's been a prolonged period of non-communication in that, and the challenge for you now is to hold this balance, to hold this still energy, so there can be this meeting in the middle, so that you are creating energetic space. Again, the Two of Cups, this is reunion energy, and look how still these counterparts are. The water's flowing, they're not too deep into it, they're light-hearted and at the shoreline. This is a romantic new beginning. But again, the message is here, you have to create space for this. The Nine of Wands, this calls you to draw on the energy of perseverance. This is all about stamina and endurance, about remembering to keep going, to be persistent, even in the face of adversity. You may not recognize that this person's coming back in. It may seem like there's too much water under the bridge when they reappear. But again, you're being asked to trust, to have faith, and to keep going. Sky Alpha Male, this is the King of Swords, the King of Truth. Even more clarity is opening up to you, reconnecting that conscious and awareness with your 3D awareness, with the awareness of the heart and mind. Absolutely beautiful energy. Okay, let's get some final guidance cards come through for you as well. This is the Sacred Geometry deck. What's activating you right now? How are you being activated? Earth, isn't that powerful when we're doing such an earthy reading? Integration. Gaia, wow, Mother Earth. And root chakra, again, the connection to the earth. This is beautiful. And from the Heal Yourself reading cards, discover your life purpose. So that's coming your way. Home. This also came up in the other piles. And healing. Help from above. That also came up for pile 1, I believe. Right, let's get some crystal cards. Which crystals are going to support your healing right now, pile 3? What crystals do you need in your life the most? Remember, you can use them any which way. I'm going to put those back because they too many tumbled out at once. Whoa, okay, those two definitely wanted out. We have got turquoise. I'll bring these up closer later to read. And chrysocolla. I feel like we need one more. Okay, I'm going to take that one which was left on the table. Rose aura quartz. And let's get some charms. Okay, we have quite a few here. Oh, I believe. Step into faith, step into optimism. The Game Boy. Love hurts. The penny. Everything will be all right. The Three of Swords. Wow, so many came out for you. The Ace of Pentacles. Introvert. That's the second time that message has come through for you. Here it was introverted on the Elf Queen card. Fix the broken heart. And the acorn, symbolic of a new beginning. All right, from the tarot coins. We have got the Devil, the Nine of Cups, and the Seven of Pentacles. So activations and guidance for you, pile 3. Earth, integration, Gaia, and root chakra. It's incredibly significant that all of the cards coming up for you here are connected to that Earth grid. Again, this is a collective message that's come through. This is about shifting into this new state of awareness and making sure we're grounding it in our present. And, you know, to be present means to be here in the now and conscious in the here and now, as opposed to operating from an old cycle or program that's running in the background. When you're not conscious, you're just kind of going through the motions. That's the opposite of presence or mindfulness. And so we see this message about integration. This is what's being activated here, to connect all these dots and to ground them in the earth field. The frequency of integration supports our embrace of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of life. And what a powerful message that is for you, pile 3. You know, under these circumstances where you've been asked to recognize you are not separate after all. Yes, it's blissful when you connect to consciousness and you can see so far and wide, but when you ground this energy, you realize that there is oneness, that you are a great part of this cycle of life, that you are united, you're never actually separate. You know, the earth frequency here activates our deep connection to this physical plane by showing us the beauty of all aspects of our great mother and revealing the more ethereal, spiritual aspects of our nature. You know, this is connecting you to your absolute truth, which allows you to discover your life purpose, allows you to feel at home once more in your body and your experience here. It opens the door for even more profound healing. And there's such a beautiful message here about that help from above. You know, that where these family trauma issues are concerned, you're being guided, and the harp is there, a symbol of peace. Such beautiful, comforting harmonies that emanate from the harp energy. Perhaps it may be good to seek out harp healing. Music is shown here as well with a fiddle or violin. But, you know, spirit is on your side, and there's so many messages here to reassure you of that. Everything will be all right. Believe. You know, you've got the Ace of Pentacles, which is not only symbolic of a new beginning, but also protection, safety. You've got that the acorn as well. you know, again, symbolic of a new start. Allow yourself to be introverted. Trust that you can stand on your own 2 feet, that you've got this power to operate from this energy of self-sufficiency and independence. You've done so much heart healing. You know, you're closing out those games. You know, you're ready for that new beginning, releasing those addictions, those unhealthy communication patterns, all of that unhealthy codependency that you are now putting to rest and investing in this new way forward. 9 of Cups is incredibly symbolic. 9 of Cups is all about emotional self-sufficiency, self-fulfillment. You know, in the 9 of Cups, and I'm sure this came out for pile 1 as well. In the 9 of Cups, the traditional image illustrates a gentleman waiting in his home before guests arrive, and he has 9 cups lined up behind him. He's anticipating company, but he's already smiling. He's already happy and looking forward because he's already full. And because he's so full, he has even more room to enjoy the events that are to come without needing something from them. It's not a case of come over here and help fill me up. It's a case of come over here and let me share my overflow of love and inner sustenance with you. And this is the change and transition that you're going through right now, pile 3. It's beautiful. You know, trust in the way forward. Your person is reappearing very soon, and you've created new space with which to interact in that, and it's going to be a very different experience this time. I really hope that was helpful. I'm going to take this over to the extended. We're going to go deeper with these messages. I'm going to dig deeper into the connection, into the work stuff, bring forward more guidance. So if this reading resonated for you today, you can find the link for the extended reading in the description box below. It's just $3.33 to rent it. Try and keep those prices low. I'm actually going to be introducing a new platform soon that will allow me to reduce that price even further, so they're even more accessible. But I'll share that in good timing. But thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for hitting the like button if you enjoyed this, and thank you for subscribing. It means a lot to be part of this community and to grow with you. And thank you so much to the very, very, very generous souls that take the time to watch my commercials, to click on those adverts. It really is such a beautiful and much appreciated energy exchange when you share your time with me that way. And I appreciate it so much. It really helps my channel to grow. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your light in that way. And I will see you next time. Lots of love. Bye.